And we don't actually have answers to that today, but we know what there is to know. We know what the New Testament says about it. It is good, it is perfect, therefore it's acceptable. So the first question is, what is the big picture? What is God doing in the world? And sometimes we narrow our lives down to the little picture of me and my role, and it doesn't always make sense, and sometimes it seems very frustrating. The various accounts of the story I'm going to tell you, but I found out this week in doing a little research that the origin of this story is in the Rule of Saint Benedict, a document written back in the 6th century. Saint Benedict built the Abbey of Monte Cassino in Italy, which is still there today. And Benedict tells the story in his Rule of Saint Benedict that a group of men were working on the building site in Monte Cassino. And somebody came to one of them and said, "What are you doing?" And he said, "Well, I'm a bricklayer and I'm building a wall." Then he went to somebody else and said, "What are you doing?" And he said, "I'm a carpenter and I'm carving some beams." He went to another one and said, "What are you doing?" Well, I'm a sander and I'm sanding down this block of marble. Went to another guy who was digging dirt out of the ground. He said, "What are you doing?" He said, "I'm building a cathedral." Now, it was true, the one guy was a bricklayer and the other guy was a carpenter and the other guy was a sander and this other guy was probably a digger. But when their focus was, "I'm building a wall, I'm cutting some wood," you can be pretty sure in due course that'll get tedious and tiring and you'll look for something else to do. But when you have the vision of the other guy, "I'm building a cathedral, I'm not just building a wall, I'm not just carving a beam, there's something big I'm part of here," that gives meaning and purpose and excitement to the little bit that you are doing. And so it is with life, that there's a big...
Anyone heard that story before?
Same guy, too.
I like the way he tells it. Well, some of you have seen that actual video. Oh, in like Sunday school or small group or something like that. Okay. There's something about a guy with an accent, right? It's just, it makes it that much more interesting. He says there's something big I'm a part of here that gives meaning and purpose and excitement to the little bit that we're doing. Each of us is doing just a little bit. We each have a part in it. It's not just sitting in the nursery. It's not just making a salad for a funeral dinner. It's not just passing the communion plate. It's not just mowing the grass. All of those things need to be tied to something bigger. Please turn to page 27 as we look at translating the cause. Translating the cause. It begins by understanding what your task of ministry is, and then how that ministry task affects the larger church body, and then how it can have a spiritual impact. And then you continue to remind your ministry partners of this on a frequent basis. Look at the example of the nursery team, halfway down page 27. So the position is nursery worker. The basic task is caring for infants and toddlers. Organizational impact, when done well, this ministry attracts families. The spiritual impact is parents can worship and serve without concern for their children, and infants and toddlers learn the love of Jesus firsthand as they grow. So that sure seems a lot more desirable than come sit with the brats in the nursery and miss out on every sermon till the end of time. That's not very attractive. Nobody wants to do that, right? We need to translate the cause. It's all in how you present it. So turn the page to 8. So it's time to practice translating the cause for your ministry team. If you are not a ministry team leader, you can do this for whatever ministry you're a part of if you want to. You know, I think there's still some value to that. So go ahead with your ministry team, work on translating the cause. Fill this out. And I'm going to give you really just about 5 minutes to brainstorm on this, okay? To write some, and then we'll move on.